Greetings, everyone, and welcome to We Are ACEDS, streaming live on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. My name is Mike Quartararo, and I am the president of ACEDS. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, Kristin Davidson, founder and CEO of CLE Companion, a Texas-based provider of continuing legal education, CLE, for those in the legal business, providing those CLE services to the legal sector. ACEDS recently partnered with CLE Companion to provide CLE credit to our members. And we're excited to promote this partnership and let everyone know about the incredible value this partnership adds to ACEDS membership and to the CLE Companion audience. Kristin, thanks so much for making time to join us today. I hope you and yours are well in these incredibly odd times in which we live.
Hopefully it's getting a little bit more close to normal.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're coming out of it. This is the beginning of the end, I think people are saying.
I like it. I'll take it.
So for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about CLE Companion and what led you to start this company.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you for having me on. I'm a huge fan of ACEDS, and I'm so excited for the new collaboration that we have going. It's gaining some steam already. We've been together for about a month or so live.
Yeah.
So we're very excited. So I started a little bit about CLE Companion. I noticed that there was a void in the legal education industry that has kind of been preempted by the model towards, or the view towards, a free model of education in general. So people watch YouTube videos to get educated. You know, they do a ton of different things. So what I wanted to do was just get a little bit closer to that free model. And we do that by partnering with other legal vendors. So it works pretty well. So we've been live for about a year and a half, and we've got 100 or so courses on the website, and we are consistently changing and updating the courses. So we always have something fresh and new. We have all the latest technology that you could want, but it's also super easy to use. So we've got the credit trackers, the mobile app, integration into case law research, which we'll talk about, and just instant certifications of credit. We have administrator access, so administrators can log in on the back end and track all of their own attorneys in their firm. So we've just done everything that we can to make it simple and seamless and valuable.
That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about our partnership. Now, I mean, obviously, ACEDS is always one component of what we do is, we're a membership-based organization. Our focus is really legal education in general, but we came across your offering, and the idea of a partnership came up. We're always trying to find ways to add value to our members. And so this was one way we thought that added value, certainly in the legal professional sector for lawyers and paralegals. And so we came up with this idea that we would offer it for free. But tell us a little bit about what the experience for the user will be like.
Well, it's as we said, super simple. So the user can come in, easily find courses. We have on-demand courses, live stream courses. We have courses across every sector for every state and every province and Canadian province. We're also in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. So it's very easy to find what they need. We have all specialties, including elimination of bias, technology, law practice management, of course, ethics. So we really pride ourselves in having the most current, up-to-date information available. And then, like we talked about a little bit, the case law research tool, we have just integrated so that you can actually research the case law that is talked about in the presentation. So we have, each presentation has links to the current research that the presenter has either noted or we feel is pertinent to the subject matter. And you can kind of go from there. It's a full case law research. We just pinged a couple different statutes that you can look at, but the case law research tool is full throughout the United States and Canada, and it's updated daily. And there's a lot of AI components onto it, so you can pinpoint really where you need to go quickly.
Yeah, and I should be clear that, I mean, ACEDS is focused, our specialty is e-discovery, obviously. And so we're offering up content in that space through your platform. But everybody should understand that the entire panoply of, potential topics spans the legal spectrum. Whatever you may need CLE credit in, you can get. And the beauty is, if you become an ACEDS member, it is free to you. As a service that we provide a value add benefit for our members. Okay, let's talk a little bit about trends in, virtual CLE. We live in this world now where, we're all sort of homebound. At least we have been for the last year. I think we are coming out of it later this year, probably. But what are some of the trends you're seeing in sort of the virtual CLE world as opposed to, pre-pandemic times?
Yes, so I think the legal industry fast forwarded about a decade with this pandemic, which was, incredible. The legal industry is a little bit slow to adapt at some points, but we pivoted very, very quickly. So all states are now allowing live stream CLEs to be credited instead of the in-house CLEs. So some states had originally required a in-person component to the CLE. So we can now do that all live stream and on demand. So it's incredible. And we've hosted quite a few virtual conferences in the last year, and they've gone really well.
Yeah.
We're learning about the networking piece, which there's a couple of new companies that really have a good networking piece component to it, where you can sit down face to face with someone just as you would in person. So I think it's up in the air whether it's going to go more towards the virtual completely or go back to the norm. But I think that we're at least going to have a virtual component. So you're now going to be able to go to CLEs or conferences all over the world that you wouldn't have had access to. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think we're going to start seeing, we're already seeing it, frankly. The International Legal Technology Association announced a hybrid event this year. And so yep. I think we're going to see a little bit more of the hybrid, some more of the virtual, obviously. But I think full-blown in-person, 1,000-person conferences are probably 2022 is my guess. I hate to prognosticate because every time I do, I find I'm wrong. But I think that's where we are. So if I'm a conference or an organization, tell me a little bit about like lead time. How much time do you need to really get a program up and running to offer CLE to attendees?
So we could do it, in as little as a month or so. But we prefer to have 6 to 8 weeks, and that's just to get all of the marketing information, to get the courses set up. And we've actually, in a couple different conferences, we've supplemented some of the CLE companion courses that are already in our library with their live programs. So it depends on how big it is. If it's a 3 or 4 day thing, we've done it in 2 weeks, which has been pretty grueling, but we'd like to have a month or so.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Just out of curiosity, how many programs are actually in the library these days? Is it growing?
Oh yeah, so we have about 100 right now, but we keep that curated right about 100 because one of the feedback that we've got from attorneys was if they go into a platform and try to find a CLE, they don't want to look through 1,500 of them.
All
You
right.
know, you can look through the best ones with the most qualified presenters and the most timely subject matter right on CLE Companion. So we get rid of the ones that, you know, aren't timely, aren't providing, you know, as much usefulness to our members, and we just keep the good ones.
That's great. And I have to tell you, you know, I just having been in legal education for most of my career on some level and trying to get CLE credit, it can be really challenging to, you know, depending upon where you are, different states, every state has its own rules and
Yes.
procedures, and there's different fees and all this stuff. And it seems like really the benefit of CLE Companion is you've taken that lift, that heavy load off of the education provider,
Absolutely.
and really just sort of, I know when we started talking, you're like, well, we're sort of pre-authorized in 50 states. And that is awesome because I don't have to call 50 state bar associations and figure out how to get my content CLEs accredited.
Yes, that was a task. So we kind of created a big algorithm with all of the components, all the requirements for all the states across the 50 states in Canada, and we comply with every single state's rules just as an umbrella. So, and in addition to that, every state, you know, has the different rules, different timings, different fees. So we have a big spreadsheet with exactly what to do. So it takes a while, but it's, you know, it's what we do every day. So we like it now.
And just going back to the conference piece too, I know we talked recently about a conference. I recently spoke at the University of Florida eDiscovery conference, and we talked a little bit about potentially getting CLE credit for it. But there's actually a way to do it post-conference too, isn't there?
Yes, in some states there is post-conference, and in other states, you would be able to get the on-demand credit. So in order to get live credit in certain states, just about 3 or 4, we would have had to accredit it prior, but we can always accredit post-conference for the on-demand version.
And for
And
those,
we host
go ahead.
most of our conferences we keep on CLE Companion. So we have a section of virtual conferences, so you can knock out your CLE with going to one virtual conference in a subject matter that you're familiar with,
Yeah,
and just get it all done right there. So it's just like going to a conference, except you're at home.
yeah, that's awesome.
You can wear your pajamas.
And a lot of states, for those who don't know, you can self-certify in many states too. And you know, as an attorney, you're kind of swearing that I attended this, and you get the credit that way. But all right, that's
we have.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So to self-certify, we have created documents for each state that you self-certify in. So it's called a filing information docket for each course. So we have the dates, the presenter, all the accolades, the bios, education requirements, outlines, everything that the state could need. So really, you just have to hand them this piece of paper that's already completed.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned the case law research component, and I think we kind of glossed over it. Can you unpack that a little bit for us?
Absolutely. So we really wanted to make CLE kind of as valuable as possible. And one way to do that is to incorporate case law research into the CLE that you are watching. So technically, you know, you could bill for that time that you are both watching the CLE and doing the research on that subject matter, if it's the same subject that you're working on that caseload. So it's the same as any other case law research tool. It's really, there's not a whole lot of difference between mine and the paid ones. You can download any courses or any case law that you want printed out. I know some of our competitors charge you per page, and that can get pretty expensive. And then also, you know, the paralegals, the admins, everyone in the firm now has their own case law research login. So previously, sometimes the law libraries would just have a membership to a case law research platform, and everyone would go to the law library. So now, each person has to have their own login, which is considerably more expensive. So we've kind of tried to solve that problem.
Yeah, no, that's incredibly valuable. All right, this has been great. I really enjoy our partnership. Thank you so much for joining us today. Before we go, is there anything new or interesting coming up that we need to share with the audience?
Sure, we've actually we're creating bundles around subject matters, which is kind of fun. So similar to the virtual conference, we're creating an e-discovery bundle, and that's coming up in the next 3 weeks. We'll have our next 3 courses that we're partnering with ACEDS on for an e-discovery bundle. We're doing a technology bundle, ethics bundles. So we're really looking to just make it as easy as possible for our members to get exactly what they need in a short period of time.
Yeah, so users should look out for that. Well,
Yes.
This has been great, Kristin. Great chatting with you briefly. If anyone is interested in our short form video interviews like this, you can find We Are ACEDS Live in your LinkedIn feed, on Twitter, Facebook, or check out the ACEDS YouTube channel where you can watch previous interviews and live streams. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day and be kind to one another.
Thank you so much, Mike.
You're welcome.